What's up guys, and welcome to the very first episode of my Premier League career mode, a brand new career mode for EA FC 24 where we'll be beginning in the English top flight with Fulham. So for new viewers to the channel, hello, hi, welcome, my name is Jonah, otherwise known as Docks. I am a FIFA/FC YouTuber who's been making videos for 13 years now. Yep, began in summer of 2011, and I'm a massive football fan, massive career mode fan, big FC player. My first FIFA was back in 99, yes I am that old, but yeah, massive football fan, massive career mode fan, and I upload videos every single day as well. So yeah, if you like daily career mode videos, I highly recommend clicking that subscribe button. As this save will be uploaded every single day and quadruple uploads on the weekend as well. So if you're new viewers to the channel, click the subscribe button and join the family here. Great to have you. So yeah, Fulham, they are in their second year in the Premier League this current season, which of course is being wrapped up this weekend with the Premier League final day coming tomorrow. Save for another year, as we know, so we'll next season be playing their third year in a row in the Premier League. And despite being a Millwall fan myself, I've gone on record as saying this, I do have a bit of a soft spot for Fulham, I can't deny it. I've been to the ground before, Craven Cottage. It's a super old ground. It was actually built hundreds of years ago, not primarily used as a football stadium, but it's still Fulham's ground after all these years. They're basically building a new stand, redeveloping it called the Riverside that backs onto the River Thames. It's a gorgeous old ground with a pavilion as well, and it's a real stadium in the game too. So yeah, really cool team. Back in 2010, they reached the Europa League final, had a famous European run going all the way to the final, only coming up short to the great Atletico Madrid. And it's definitely a side with being based in the capital, rivals with Brentford, QPR and Chelsea as West London rivals, a really fun team to use for a career mode. So yeah, I'm really excited to use them, and this should be the start of a great project. So Fulham at the moment don't really have much in the way of an identity. It's a bit of a mixture of a squad right now. They've got a couple of players on loan, including Armando Broja from their West London rivals Chelsea and Ballo Touré from AC Milan as well. They've got a ton of players that are currently loaned out too, and a few players that deals that come the end of the year. One of which is Tosin Adarabioyo, who is very likely to leave on a free transfer come the end of the season. And as Fulham start off with a budget of 41 mil, there's a lot of money to work with in the first season, but in my saves, we do try and keep things quite realistically. Now, unless I'm doing a save which is called a realistic career mode, we can venture away from realism a little bit, but for the most part, we do want to keep it quite realistic. So don't expect us to sign the best wonder kids in world football, you know, in the first season. It's just not going to happen. We do try and keep things quite realistic if we can, but one thing we definitely want to do with Fulham is get a great, strong youth academy. So for a new viewer to the channel, basically in my career modes, the youth academy is so important, man. There's been so many youth stars already for me in FC 24, such as Joel Cox and Gabriel Long in my first career mode, AK the Rifle in my Swansea save. In the last one I just did, we had players such as Maxime Simons, Mad Max and DJ as well out of the academy. So the youth academy is really important to me. So yeah, in the first season we will be looking for some brilliant youth players for our youth setup. And for the scouts, where we send them, well, again, we try and keep it quite realistic. I always keep one scout based in the country the club is based in. So of course we'll keep one scout in England looking for those homegrown talents to begin with. And so what we normally do in the first season is we stay very close to home, and then gradually as the years go on and we expand our ability and our marketability and our range as well, that's when we start looking a little further afield from where we're currently based. But to begin with, we'll stay within the British Isles, and we've got one in England, we'll have one in Wales as well. Fulham of course have a Welsh international in their squad right now in Wilson, and we'll also go to Scotland as well for our first three. And of course club captain Tom Kearney was born in England actually, but does have a couple of caps for Scotland himself. So yeah, we'll go with England, Wales and Scotland for our first 9 months, looking for those close to home, homegrown talents. The academy is going to be very important. Fulham over the years have had some great players through their academy. Eberechi was actually on their books before he got released, and of course he's now making a name for himself at Crystal Palace. Of course you've got Ryan Sessegnon at Spurs, sadly career's been stunted by injury, but also of course the young Liverpool youngsters now, Fabio Carvalho, who's out on loan at Hull, and also of course Harvey Elliott as well. At some point we'll like to bring them back. So yeah, in the first season, we will try and keep it quite realistic in terms of transfers, so don't expect us to go for Jude Bellingham or players like that. But we will try and keep it quite realistic. To me, I do feel as though we're going to need to possibly look at strengthening this back line again. Tosin Adarabioyo is likely to leave on a free transfer in the summer, so I'm not going to extend his contract and let him go on a free for the realism. Kenny Tate's out of contract coming the end of the season, and I'm probably going to release him as well. They've brought in Castagna from Leicester, but I'd like someone a little bit better there. So I'm thinking probably a new right back and possibly a new centre half as well. Calvin Bassey is there, of course, bringing in from Ajax. He'll probably be a successor for Adarabioyo, but of course not too sure about Issa Diop's future here at Fulham. And Tim Ream, of course, now in his mid-30s, is just far too old as well. So yeah, I think the back line is probably my number one priority to strengthen in the summer. But again, we'll keep it quite realistic, and yeah, we won't just sign the best young defenders you can get. So let's improve our scouting team. We've got 34 mil. We're not going to spend all of that. We're not going to spend all of that at all. So let's improve our scouting team here. Pick up a 5-star judgment, and if there's another one available, I'll get one of those too. No, only 4-star. We'll take a 5-star, 4-star, and look to bolster our recruitment team in the first season. So yeah, in the first season, again, we want to try and keep the transfers quite realistic if we can. We've got 2 bids here. One for Bender, Celtic want to take him on loan to compete with Joe Hart between the sticks. Wouldn't be against that, to be honest, but I think for now we'll just keep him here as a third choice. But also Tom Kearney wanted by West Ham. Again, possible staying within London, moving to West Ham to play under David Moyes. There is some European football there in their first season, of course, but he's club captain. He's been here for a decade now, so I believe Tom Kearney's probably going to retire as a Fulham player. He's so loved there, and thus will turn it down. So if a bid comes in from like a really, really big club, like a Champions League side, for example, João Palhinha, who is just an amazing player. There's such a big amount of talk that he's probably going to leave in the summer. If someone like Man City comes in and puts a bid, I'm not going to stand in his way. But for us, we want to make sure the sale destinations are quite realistic, So for certain players, we won't stand in their way if a big bid comes in. And I definitely think that for Palhinha, he'll probably be leaving in the summer in real life, and thus I think it'll be a one and done with me taking over here as well. I don't think we'll have him for next season, let's just say that. So here we go, right on the money. This would explain what I mean perfectly. So Spurs just put a bid in for Issa Diop, and while Spurs last season had a tough finish, Ange Postecoglou's come in looking to change the culture there in North London. And with Diop, he's been at the club since he joined from West Ham a couple of years ago. Spurs are considered a bigger club down Fulham. They'll be back in Europe next season in the Europa League as well, and thus I think Issa Diop, who has been linked to Spurs before as well when he was at West Ham, would probably want to go, remaining in London but moving to a bigger club that will be playing European football as well. So yeah, there'll be times where we will say to that player, no, we're not selling, but sometimes if the situation befits it, I'm totally fine selling a player and not standing in their way. In this case, I think it makes sense. I don't want to stand in his way. I don't want to block an exit to a bigger club, to a side we'll be playing in Europe. And also, we're a team that are about to go for a rebuild here, as I'm in, new manager, looking to build a new core as well. So yeah, we'll take what we can get, £13 million, and he is off to North London. So in terms of new signings, got my scouts currently out right now, and to be fair, there's a few players that I've been looking at from championship teams, because with Fulham, again, we want to build a new identity, looking for those young players, but also players who, again, are playing second-tier football. Would be absolutely perfect, really. I don't know if we should get Van den Berg, because he, technically would have just signed for Middlesbrough, so I don't think that really makes a lot of sense to me. But Samakin at Leipzig, I think probably not in season 1, but there's a few players here I'm quite keen on. We could possibly have Ben Sheaf playing as a ball-playing defender, maybe moving on from Coventry. If you're new viewer to the channel, you'll learn very quickly I've got a bit of a kink for turning players into ball-playing defenders. But I wouldn't be against one of these lads, to be fair. And so, there we go. Issa Diop on his way to Spurs. Possibly could have got a little bit more money, but just didn't want to stand in his way and block the offer there with Spurs being a London side. Obviously, meaning he doesn't need to relocate, and they're a bigger club that will be playing European football next season under Ange Postecoglou. So, again, we're going to limit ourselves to 2 sales and 2 signings in the first season. So that's the first of 2 sales we're allowed to make. Fingers crossed, touch wood, we don't get a bid for João Palhinha, because I do want to keep him. But Diop gone. That now raises our budget to around 42 mil, but we're not going to spend all of that on star players. We want to rebuild this side here with Fulham, looking for maybe lesser quality players, but younger players to develop for the future, and players that are going to be here for the long term. We're building a new core here at Craven Cottage. And yeah, I'd say personally, if we're looking for a successor for Tom Cairney long term at some point, and the fact that João Palhinha is almost definitely going to go in the summer as well, I'd say one of these three players would be ideal for us. The two lads at Arico in Ben Sheaf, ex-Arsenal Academy graduate, and Josh Eccles as well. And also Hayden Hackney at Middlesbrough too. Really, really talented young player. But I'm going to go for Ben Sheaf. He's the oldest of the three, and I feel as though really he needs to make a move this summer to a Premier League side if he is going to take the next step up in his career. So yeah, I think Ben Sheaf makes a lot of sense to me. He's been linked to Fulham in the past as well. Really good player, great passer of the ball, very technical too. And again, possibly, just possibly, could be phased back to a ball-playing defender. I'm going to go for Ben. Yep, I'd say out of all three of those players there, this is the most realistic. He has been linked to Fulham quite heavily recently, with the Sky Blues missing out on the chance to return to the Premier League for this season. Helped them get to the FA Cup semi-finals this year, of course, and it was so close to completing one of the all-time great comebacks in FA Cup history. 3-0 down against Manchester United, took it all the way to penalties, only to come up short on that. But yeah, he's been linked to Fulham in the summer. And I think they probably have to pay around 10 to 15 mil minimum. So with that being the case, whilst you can probably get him for under that, I'm going to keep it reasonably realistic and say £10 million. I think that might be enough for him to move on to Fulham. Probably with a sell-on clause as well, but in this case we'll do a flat £10 million fee. Coventry City say yes, and Ben Sheaf is on his way to Craven Cottage, like we might see in real life too. Yep, on a 5-year, £36.5 a week deal, our first signing of the rebuild era at Craven Cottage, a player that I've seen play quite a few times for the Sky Blues at Coventry City, and I'll be honest here, he's more than good enough for the Premier League, and I think he'll be heading there in the summer as well, possibly to Fulham, who have been linked, or maybe newly promoted Ipswich Town. I guess we'll see, but in this save, it's Fulham that have got their man as Ben Sheaf is in. So welcome to Craven Cottage, Ben. Yes, I must say I'm really happy with this one here. 25 years old, so in the prime of his career right now, 75 overall, and he's a really, really solid defensive midfielder. He's got a bit of height, he's got a bit of strength, he's got tremendous energy, and he's a really comfortable, composed passer of the ball as well. Again, possibly could convert him to CB, but I personally see him being the long-term successor in this team for Tom or João in that DS spot. For now, we'll keep him on balanced, as Ben Sheaf is my first signing here with Fulham. So we've just had a couple of bids, one for Kenny Tate and one for Bobby Reid. From Wolves and West Ham. The Kenny Tate deal included a swap deal. Turned it down accidentally when I was supposed to negotiate. But as for Bobby Reid, Wolves want him. I really like Bobby Reid, to be fair. He's a very hard-working player. Represents Jamaica on the international stage, and he's out of contract coming the end of the season. I think, like Kenny, I'd like to keep him until the end of the season and then let them both go on free transfers, like what I do believe is going to happen in real life as well. So I'm going to turn this one down too. But if a bid comes in from a much bigger club that I don't think I can stand in their way, then I'll let them go. But for now, I'd like to keep them till the end of the season, because again, I think that's probably what's going to happen. Both Bobby and Kenny have their deals that come at the end of the year, and thus I would like to keep them until the expiry of their contracts, just like Tosin Adarabioyo as well. And here we go. As a bid comes in from Rek Rodak, he's an academy grad though, so we're definitely going to keep him. As a backup. Our first 3 scouting updates of the 9-month mission, and fingers crossed, touch wood, right from the get-go, we got some gems. Well, this guy could be alright. We'll reject this guy, and I must say, straight off the bat, speaking of Fulham Academy graduate goalkeepers, Lance Knight, which is an unbelievable name, by the way, is getting a scholarship straight off the bat. Cameron Fox could be alright as well. This is a brilliant start here from England. Although Harry Lee, despite the fantastic beard, isn't going to make it. But I might give Cameron Fox a scholarship as well. What a start. As for Wales, we'll continue the scouting on these 3 players here for now. Oh, goodness gracious, what a start indeed. And from Scotland, whilst there are a few players that are going to be turned down, Douglas Wood could be a very good young player as well. We'll continue the scouting on these 2 for now, as we'll just go with the English duo in the academy. And I want to see straight off the bat just how good they are, because I must say that goalkeeper in particular looks unbelievable. 67 overall already, 75 kicking, absolutely fantastic. Positioning needs work, but other than that, goodness gracious, well, never mind Marcus Bettinelli or Marek Rodak. I think this is the guy between the sticks we'll be looking for in the future here at Fulham. And so, as we just had a bid for Harrison Reed, I think he's a really underrated player, to be honest. West London rival, Brentford putting a bid in. To be honest, I don't think we're going to sell any players to West London rivals. I don't mind, like, again, Diop going to Spurs, for example. But a West London rival like Brentford or QPR, I don't see us doing business with them. Possibly if they're both in the Championship. Brentford, of course, still a Premier League side, but QPR are a Championship side. But I think unless we sell like a star player to Chelsea, I don't think we should do any kind of any business with West London rivals. And as for West Brom putting in a bid for Bernd Leno here, this is just... No, not realistic at all. We're turning that one down. Right, let's play the first couple of games of the season, starting with Everton away at Goodison Park. And in the first year with Fulham, I would definitely say my target. If we can get into the top 10, that would be amazing. But really, anywhere between 11th and 16th for our first year, stability, that's what we're looking for at Craven Cottage in our first year of the rebuild. For those curious, by the way, for new viewers to the channel, I play on Ultimate Difficulty. My camera settings will be shown on the screen as well. And all the sliders are on 50, apart from injury frequency and severity, which are both increased to get some realistic injuries during the season as well. So yeah, first game of the season, Everton away. Let's start off with 3 points here against Sean Dyche's Blues. Come on, Fulham. Yep, the first season, all about stability, looking for comfortable survival, if you will. As Bernd Leno makes a good stop there at the near post to deny Jack Harrison, I think it was. Listen, we're not going to have an outside shot at the top four. In the first season, we're not going to be going for a Champions League place. It's just not going to happen. If there's an outside shot of 7th with a couple of games to go, we'll be going all out for it. But yeah, the first season, when we're away from home in games like this, we'll just take the point and call it a good result. It's going to be a tough first season. First season, transitioning, rebuild, it's going to be tough right from the get-go. But yeah, to me, somewhere between 11th to 15th, that's a good first season for us. Harrison on the turn, looking for space to possibly get a shot away or slip it through to Beto, who shoots and scores, and our clean sheet gone and defence breached 3 minutes before the break. Yet when we're away from home, a point is a good result against anyone. Craven Cottage will need to be a fortress, but when we're on the road, take any point you can get. The ex-Udinese forward with the opener, Everton in front before the break. Dobbin crosses, finds Beto, flicks on Decoy. What a save by Leno that is. And the senior German keeps us still down by just a one, but really, at the moment, it's all one-way traffic. Really tough opening day here, to be fair, as I was expecting away against the Toffees. Beto dispossessed, but I can't get it clear. I cannot get it clear. Jack Harrison into Decoy, sorry, and cleared away just in the nick of time. It's going to be a comfortable closeout, I think, for Everton. Set 7 to go. They haven't needed to be at their best to beat us, and that's the worrying thing. They haven't needed to be at their best to collect the 3 points here. Harrison denied. If we're going to get a chance, we need to move forward now. Great dribbling by Pereira, and a lovely ball out wide. Kenny, keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, play advantage. It's Willian who's just gone down, and that just sums the game up, honestly. Willian's got an injury in a poor 1-0 loss. Terrible start to the season, as Everton will hold on for the 3 points on match day 1. A sign of what's to come in our first year at Craven Cottage. A tough 1-0 loss on the opening day with little creativity, and the scoreline could have been worse had the opponents been better. Yep, there's a long way to go. Trust the process though, guys. Trust the process. Transitions take time. Long way to go. Trust the process, man. It's the first year of a rebuild. It's going to take time. And as for Willian's injury, it's a 4-week sprained knee, so that'll rule him out for the rest of August and a tiny bit of September as well. So that means we'll probably put Bobby Reed in on that right-hand side now. Yeah, not exactly the start we were hoping for there, was it? I don't mind the team shape. 4-2-3-1 is my favourite formation as well. I'm just worried we're not going to score enough goals, really. That's the only thing for me, So you've got Armando Broja in on loan from Chelsea, but if I'm being honest here, I don't really want to prioritise our loan players in Broja and Ballo Torre when I can find them. Where is he? There he is there. I want to really prioritise the young players we've got ourselves, So I'm not really going to give him much game time. Rodrigo Muniz is a decent young forward, but I'm not really sure what his ceiling is. So, do we look to buy a new striker? I'm not really sure. And we do have a bid here for Adama Traore from Cagliari as well. But for players that have just joined the club, technically, they'll be off limits in the first season. So, as this is summer 2023, technically, Adama Traore would have literally just come in from Wolves a few weeks ago. So, of course, he'll be off limits for going within the first 6 months at the absolute earliest. So, yeah, we still got plenty of money in the budget, but I don't really know what to do so far. So instead of making panic buys and panic signings, let's just play the following game. It will be our first West London derby of the save thus far. Brentford at home. This will be a big game as well already on match day 2. Our first one here at Craven Cottage, and really could do with our first victory as well to make sure we don't start off pointless and winless in our first 2 games. Let's get our first win here in our first game at Craven Cottage. Come on, Fulham. And we'll be to Pereira. And now Kearney. Back to Alex. And Munoz. Oh, lovely football there. Great turn by Pereira too. Now here's Adama Traore. Now we know what this guy's all about, man. Pace and strength. Pace and strength. And on this occasion, no end product. But that's what we want to see though. Good blistering pace there from Traore, breaking through the lines. But it's still 0-0 22 minutes in. Yeah, he's a tough player to stop, man. When he gets going, he's a tough player to stop. Oh, and that's a good start from him there. We're still 0-0. So second half underway. Yes, we're still deadlocks at 0-0. But right now, it's Traore. He's looking the most dangerous player on the pitch. And there's the goal to show for it. Yeah, this dude is a physical specimen. It's the best way of putting it. He is so quick and he is so strong. Physically, he's an absolute unit. And all he needs is an end product to be the complete package, either directly through the middle or on that right-hand side. Pereira rolls him through. Rico Henry's never going to outstrength him. And Adama fires in our first goal of the season. 5 after the restart, Fulham lead. Yeah, Adama Traore, Barcelona Academy graduate, you know, in his early years. He showed so much promise moving to England at an early age, and you know he may not ever live up to his full potential, but he's still carved out a decent career for himself. And you know, in this Fulham team, I have to say I'm going to look for him quite a few times and say, show me that you've still got that physicality, and show me you can still get better as well. Because if that's the case, you're going to be a handful for defenders to stop, man. No doubt about that. I think his days at right back are definitely over. There's no way he's going to be right back in this team long term to replace Kenny. But, oof, as a right midfielder on that flank, he's going to be a menace going forward. And there it is. It is over. Our first win of the season with Fulham scraping it with a goal-to-nil scoreline. But this season, when I said it against Everton, I can't just picking up many points away from home. So when we're here in West London, we've got to pick those results and we get the wins. We do here in our first game at Craven Cottage, courtesy of that man, Adama Traore. Our first goal scorer of the season and our first win of the year in our rebuild season at Craven Cottage. But that'll do it for today's episode and the first episode of the Premier League Career Mode, guys. If you've enjoyed it, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day. I will return in the next one where we'll have the EFL Cup as we'll take on Sutton United, an EFL side, in our first cup game of the campaign. We'll have more games in the Premier League, and we'll wrap up the summer transfer window with over 30 million in the budget and still one signing possible for us to be made. I think for sure we'll be bringing someone in. Have a fantastic day, guys. Much love, and I'll see you for the next episode very soon.